This activity should take between 15 and 20 minutes to complete. You will need somewhere comfortable and quiet to sit. You'll need to be able to have the ability to listen to this activity. These have been recorded on this sound file, but there's also written down instructions should you wish to refer to these as well. And you'll need some form of tools to write. This could be pen and paper, or you could type. Let's start. Stand or sit in a comfortable position, somewhere where you can concentrate and focus, somewhere where you will not be disturbed. It would be really great if you could close your eyes for this activity to really internalise what I'm going to be saying. But I understand if you don't feel comfortable doing that. So just look at the floor. That way you won't get easily distracted by the things around you. Let's start by focusing on the breath. Just your natural breath. There's no need to elongate it or make it stronger or deeper than normal. Your normal, natural breath. And listen to it. By listening to the breath, we can focus on the present moment, not become distracted by external or internal things. When you inhale, feel yourself becoming grounded to the earth. And when you exhale, feel yourself growing tall. And repeat this until you truly believe that that is all you are focusing on, pushing all other thoughts away as best you can. I understand that this can be difficult sometimes though. So breathing in, feeling yourself becoming grounded wherever you are. And breathing out, feeling yourself growing tall. Now we're going to think about how you're feeling today. You may be feeling a number of emotions today. You may be feeling very few, but it would be helpful if you could reflect on the internal feelings that you've experienced today. You may be doing this activity in the morning, or you could be doing it later on, in which case you could have experienced quite a lot internally today. Try and compartmentalise the different emotions you have felt today, including the one that you're feeling right now. Here's the difficult part though. It's really important to try not to think about what has caused these emotions. Instead, focus solely on the emotion or emotions themselves. I often find at this point to try and not associate with a situation, I imagine the word that makes up the emotion. That way I can be slightly separate to the emotion itself. We need to be a little bit more specific now. Here you need to decide. If you have experienced a number of emotions today, I would like you to choose one emotion. It can be any emotion you like, but it would be helpful if it's an emotion you have felt today. The emotion you choose could be the one that you are most familiar with, the one that you feel most of the time. It could be the one that feels the strongest right now, or that has been the strongest today. It could even be an emotion that you would be interested to explore further. Whatever the reason, choose one emotion and set that emotion in your mind's eye, keeping your eyes closed, keeping focused on the breath, but now welcoming in this one emotion as your focal point. See the letters that make up the word that spells that emotion that you have chosen. Think about the abstract imagery or objects and nouns that are associated with that emotion. See if any images spring to mind. Does your emotion have a colour? What colour is it? What shade of that colour is it? Does your emotion have a texture? If you touched your emotion, what would it feel like? These are very abstract thoughts, very abstract concepts that might be quite difficult to get your head around at first, but go with it. Think about it. If you touched your emotion, what would it feel like? Do you associate this emotion with a place, or a person, or a thing? Is there a sound or song that resonates with this emotion? If you heard that noise, you would immediately feel this particular emotion. Is there a smell that you associate with this emotion? Or perhaps, if this emotion did have a smell, what would it smell like? Continue to try and see the emotion before you. And remember, there are a variety of emotions out there. So your focus could be on a really incredibly positive emotion right now. And that's totally fine. Equally, your focus could be on an emotion that doesn't make you feel great. And that's also all right. Really see that emotion, knowing that you are in a safe and calm space. It's important to say at this point that you don't need to try and feel the emotion. I mean, if you do feel this emotion right now, that's completely okay. But if you don't feel it, that's all right too. Just think about the emotion. Okay, really gently now and completely at your own pace, start to bring your awareness back into the room that you are in. Remember the breath. Open your eyes. And whenever it feels right for you, go and get the piece of paper and pen, or your laptop and computer, or your phone, and get ready to write. We're going to do a really short task. I would like you to write the following down on your piece of paper. When I think of. When I think of. Just those 4 words. When I think of. And after the word of, insert the emotion that you have just been focusing on. Exactly how you saw it in your mind's eye. And after you've written that word, just add a comma. So you've just written part of a sentence there. When I think of, and the emotion that you've been focusing on. I'd like you then to write 2 words for me. I see. I see. And next to the word see, I'd like you to insert for me, what is it that you see when you think of that emotion? It could be a place. It could be a person. It could be an object of any kind. It could be a food. It's whatever you see, what picture materializes when you think of that emotion. So now we've got the second part of our sentence. It starts, when I think of, and the emotion that you've been focusing on, I see, and then whatever it is that you see when you think of that emotion. Give us another comma there, and then add, I hear. I hear. And then after the word hear, you know what to do now, right? You add whatever it is that you hear when you think of that emotion. This could be a sound, or a song, or an instrument, anything. And if that's quite difficult, maybe think of if your emotion had a sound, what would it sound like? So if your emotion is a positive emotion, it's going to be quite an attractive sound, a tuneful sound. Whereas if it's quite a negative emotion, it might not sound very pleasant. But again, this is completely your interpretation. So we've got the next part of our sentence. Let's start from the top. When I think of, and then the emotion that you've been focusing on. I see, and then whatever you see when you think of this emotion. I hear, and then whatever it is that you hear when you think of this emotion. And finally, our last one, give us another comma. I smell. I smell. And then, obviously, after smell, you're going to write down what you think your emotion smells like. What does it smell like? If it had a smell, what would that be? And you can full stop that sentence now. That is a complete sentence you have just written. When I think of blank, I see blank, I hear blank, I smell blank. This is a very visual, very figurative sentence that has broken down a complex emotion, an abstract concept, and you have created your own interpretation of it. That's what that emotion is to you in its most simplest terms. I'd like you to look at your sentence. Just look at it now, focusing on your page or on your screen. And either in your head to yourself or out loud, read that sentence out fully. Have you surprised yourself here with your response? Do you think it's quite a powerful sentence? How do you feel after writing that? Do you want to write down your initial thoughts and responses? Because it's okay if you do, and it's completely okay if you don't. So let's just place your paper and pen or your electronic device down and go back to that comfortable seated position or standing position or lying down position from the start with your eyes closed or as focused as you can be. Picture the word of the emotion again in your mind's eye. See the letters that make up the word, that make up the emotion. Notice that the word is starting to get smaller. It's fading into the distance, joining all the other thoughts and feelings that whiz around in your mind, until eventually you can barely see the word anymore. Maybe just the outline. And then there is your breath. That constant, that thing that is always there. With every inhale, you feel yourself becoming grounded to the earth, and every exhale, you feel yourself growing tall. Focus on the breath, trying to push all other thoughts away. just a few more moments. And then, when you're ready, completely at your own time, you can bring your awareness back into the room.